In early 2025, I had a blood test, and the results showed signs that were consistent with fatty liver disease. My ALT was 89 units per liter, while my laboratory's reference limit was less than 40 units per liter. My AST was 48 units per liter, while the reference limit was less than 35 units per liter. Another marker that I later learned can sometimes be elevated in people with fatty liver is ferritin. My ferritin level was 485 micrograms per liter, while the reference range was between 30 and 300 micrograms per liter. There was no medication that my doctor could prescribe at that time. My doctor advised me to improve my diet and lose weight. At the time, I weighed about 100 kilograms, or 220 pounds. One day, I came across a YouTube video by Dr. Stan Ekberg titled, "The #1 Fastest Way to Reverse Fatty Liver Naturally." In the video, he identified several physical and medical indicators that may point to the presence of fatty liver disease. According to Dr. Ekberg, people with a large waist circumference may have a higher risk of fatty liver. Waist circumference and body mass index, or BMI, are two of the factors used in the fatty liver index. At the time, my waist circumference was about 40 inches, and my BMI was approximately 36. Elevated liver enzymes such as ALT, AST, and GGT may also indicate a liver problem. Dr. Ekberg explained that these levels usually rise once the condition progresses to grade 2, where inflammation or tissue damage begins. A high triglyceride level is another factor used in the formula for predicting fatty liver. My triglyceride level was 2.8 millimoles per liter, while my laboratory's reference limit was less than 2.1 millimoles per liter. Another indicator discussed in the video was possible iron overload. A condition called hemochromatosis can cause excessive iron to accumulate in the body and damage the liver. However, an elevated ferritin result alone does not confirm hemochromatosis or iron overload, because ferritin can also rise due to inflammation, infection, metabolic conditions, and liver problems. Dr. Ekberg identified sugar and alcohol as important contributors to liver fat. He also explained the relationship between blood glucose, insulin, and fat storage. This was when something clicked in my mind: blood glucose and insulin could be important parts of my weight and health problems. I had heard before that insulin influences fat storage and fat loss, but for some reason, I had never fully understood its significance. Insulin is a hormone that helps move glucose out of the bloodstream and into the body's cells. It can also encourage the storage of excess energy and reduce the breakdown of stored fat. The key concept I took from this was that frequently consuming foods that rapidly raise my blood glucose could also repeatedly raise my insulin levels. So, my next step was to better understand which foods could cause a rapid increase in blood glucose. Sugar and highly refined carbohydrates can raise blood glucose quickly, although the response varies between individuals and foods. I began reducing my intake of sugar and refined carbohydrates significantly and replaced some of them with more protein, vegetables, and healthy fats. I also allowed longer intervals between meals, usually about 4 hours or more, instead of eating frequently throughout the day. About 7 months later, I repeated my blood tests. My ALT had dropped from 89 units per liter to 38 units per liter, which was within my laboratory's reference range. My AST had dropped from 48 units per liter to 22 units per liter, well within the reference limit of less than 35 units per liter. My ferritin had also dropped from 485 micrograms per liter to 378 micrograms per liter. It was still above the reference range, but it had decreased. My triglycerides had fallen from 2.8 millimoles per liter to 1.5 millimoles per liter, which was within my laboratory's reference limit of less than 2.1 millimoles per liter. When I look back through my previous blood test results and plotted them over time, I could see that the dietary changes I made correlated with improvements in several of my results. However, this is only my personal experience. The same approach may not be suitable for everyone. I am not a doctor, and this video is not medical advice. If you have abnormal liver enzymes, elevated ferritin, or concerns about fatty liver, speak with your doctor to identify the possible cause and solution. If you have a medical condition or take medication, consult your doctor before making significant changes to your diet. I will continue monitoring my results with my doctor, particularly because my ferritin remains above the reference range and my BMI remains elevated at 33. If you have had a similar experience, you are welcome to share it in the comments. Stay safe and stay healthy.